Let's get to Conor Powell. He is live for us in Orlando. That is where the storm is hitting right now, and also where it's expected to intensify, Conor.
Really, just in the last couple of minutes, we've started to get these really big gusts, and that's because the center of this storm is starting to move ever closer here to Orlando. Some 10,000 people have been forced out of their homes tonight as the fast-moving Getty fire continues to burn here in Los Angeles. That there is this massive Russian force of about 150,000 or so Russian troops that are massed along the Ukrainian border, not only in Russia, but also in neighboring Belarus.
Yeah, he was just a really wonderful person, not only to work with, but just also to be around when there wasn't work to be done. I mean, he had this big bushy mane of hair and this even bushier mustache. I always joke that he had the single hardest name to pronounce in all of Irish history, and we give him a chuckle.
In the last couple minutes, we heard what sounded like the roar of a plane, a jumbo jet flying over, and I thought, oh, that's interesting, a plane. And then I realized, no, that's the wind, and that's really what's starting to pick up here.
Yeah, it's been a steady stream of people for 24 hours. You can see behind me, Tom, there is just there's probably 1,000 or so people here, maybe more than that. It's been like that really all day long.
What you were experiencing in the last 3 minutes, look.
I'll get that door open just in case. Get down, Mel.
Hamas continues to fire rockets. They fired more than 80 today, probably even closer to 100 or so. Hamas isn't giving up. Israel says that they're not pulling out until they silence these Hamas rockets. Both sides appear to be digging in, and I'm not sure there is an end in sight. We've been saying for days it seems like it's going to, it's just going to end one day, but we're not seeing anything close to an end, Shepard.
Archaeologists believe the site was roughly 25 by 40 meters in size, not only large for the time period, but also for the region. And many of these original walls are still intact, some as tall as 6 feet.
One of the kites that was sent across the border, and as you can see, it's pretty simple. It's just some plastic, a few pieces of wood, but when it is sent across and lit on fire, it has the potential to do damage to fields like this, and it really is a new dynamic in the conflict here.
We are starting to get sort of low level, just sort of buildup of water and drainage here. And even out on the street, you can see that it's starting to pool a little bit here. And the real concern here in Central Florida is not as much the wind gust, but it really is the amount of rain we're going to get.
Vice President Pence will arrive here in the Holy Land for a visit next week, and already Palestinian leaders are saying they won't meet with him, believing the U.S. has crossed a red line with this decision that undermines past American efforts to act as an honest broker of peace here. 1,900 Palestinians have been killed and 67 Israelis during this fighting. It's 5 weeks now into this. It's one of the longest conflicts ever in this region. After years of war and a lack of resources to rebuild, Gaza's infrastructure is in tatters. In some parts of the city, sewage flows openly in the streets. And here, it flows right into the Mediterranean Sea, absolutely destroying the coastline. We are seeing more and more people defect from ISIS. Current officials tell Fox News that, in fact, he was the second person that they caught that day trying to defect from Mosul. So, Martha, life under the ISIS rule in Mosul and Raqqa and other places is getting increasingly more difficult.
First, let's get the latest from Conor Powell in Jerusalem.
The violence so many predicted was likely to occur following President Trump's unilateral decision to recognize Jerusalem as Israel's capital continued for a 5th straight day. As demonstrators in Beirut and Jakarta marched on the U.S. Embassy early Sunday morning. In the Palestinian territories, protesters clashed with security forces at Israeli checkpoints in Bethlehem and other Palestinian cities. 2 Palestinians have been killed and more than 1,000 injured, while the Israeli Air Force launched airstrikes in Gaza following the launch of rockets by Hamas. 2 militants were killed. But it's not just Muslim and Arab countries protesting President Trump's decision. Secretary of State Rex Tillerson faced a barrage of criticism in Europe this week. From France to Great Britain to Turkey, some of America's closest allies demanding answers why the White House made this decision now, receiving nothing in return that would move the peace process forward. Vice President Pence will arrive here in the Holy Land for a visit next week, and already Palestinian leaders are saying they won't meet with him, believing the U.S. has crossed a red line with this decision that undermines past American efforts to act as an honest broker of peace here. Chris?
Conor Powell reporting from Jerusalem. Conor, thank you.